He appears before the sun does. A slow figure moving along the sidewalk, head slightly bowed, as if listening to the ground breathe. Most people only notice him for a second. An elderly man with a photograph in his hand, pausing at every corner, as though the wind might whisper something he has been waiting to hear. They pass him without thinking, but if someone watched closely, they would see the way his fingers tighten around the worn edges of the picture, or how his eyes search the empty streets with a patience that feels almost painful. He is not wandering, he is looking for something precious that slipped away. To strangers, he seems like someone who simply refuses to accept that something is gone. But every morning, as he steps out of his small house, his routine tells a different truth. He picks up the same photograph from the table, touches the spot where the dog's fur once rested against his knee, and stands in the doorway for several seconds. He looks at the road, not with expectation, but with a kind of quiet hope, the sort that survives long after logic fades. He was not always this way. Before the dog, his days blended into each other like dim echoes. After losing his wife, he learned how wide loneliness can feel when it settles into the walls of a home. His children moved on with their own burdens, calling less frequently as the months passed. He did not blame them. Life pulls people in different directions, and he never wanted to be an anchor. But the silence grew heavier, and the rooms felt colder. Then, the stray appeared, thin, frightened, unsure whether to run or stay. The old man didn't approach at first. He simply placed a small bowl of food outside and sat nearby, letting the dog decide. Trust came slowly, almost shyly, and eventually the dog curled up beside him as though it had been searching too. Their companionship was unspoken, steady, and comforting in a way neither fully understood, but both desperately needed. The walks at sunrise became a ritual. The simple meals shared on the porch became a kind of healing. For the first time in years, the man felt something warm growing quietly inside him. That warmth shattered on a stormy afternoon when thunder cracked across the sky. A loose fence panel swung open. The frightened dog escaped before the old man could reach it. He searched in the rain until his clothes clung to his skin and the light faded, then searched again the next day and the next. At first, the neighbors helped. Then their lives resumed, and only he continued. Now he moves through the town with the same slow determination, retracing steps, revisiting alleys, calling the dog's name into the muted air. People watch him from windows. Some feel sympathy. Most simply assume he will stop eventually, but he never does. Because for him, the search is not just about finding the dog. It is about holding on to the last piece of affection that made his life feel alive again. One afternoon, a boy begins following him from a distance. The boy is small, with a backpack that looks too big, and he walks like someone who has learned to be quiet in his own home. He watches the old man check behind dumpsters and under stairways. He notices the way the man wipes his glasses when he thinks no one is looking, as if clearing away the possibility that he missed something. After several days, the boy gathers enough courage to speak. He asks if the man needs help. The question is simple, but it startles the man, who is used to being invisible. He hesitates, then nods. They walk together in silence. The boy asks about the dog, its habits, its favorite places, the small quirks only an owner would know. As the man describes each detail, his voice carries a mixture of longing and gratitude. The boy listens with an attentiveness that feels rare, as though he understands the weight behind every memory. Days pass, and the unlikely pair become a small presence throughout the neighborhood. People notice them now, the old man and the boy, searching side by side. The boy checks shelters, asks shopkeepers, and reminds the man to rest when his steps grow slow. The man begins to wait for the boy in the mornings, finding comfort in a companionship he never expected. In helping search for the missing dog, the boy finds someone who sees him without dismissing him. In the boy, the man discovers a reminder that connection can return in unexpected ways. One day, the boy spots something beneath a porch across town, a trembling animal, thin and skittish. He calls the old man over. The world seems to pause for a moment. The man kneels, extending his hand, whispering the familiar name with a voice that quivers between fear and longing. The dog doesn't respond at first. Its eyes flicker, unsure, distant. Then, slowly, it inches forward. The moment is fragile, almost unreal. For a breathless second, no one knows if this is truly his lost companion or simply another stray drawn by a gentle voice. But when the dog reaches him, placing its head against his trembling hands, the man closes his eyes, overwhelmed by a relief that feels like a quiet miracle. In the days that follow, the streets no longer carry the sound of a single voice calling into emptiness. Sometimes the man walks with the dog, sometimes with the boy, sometimes with both. The town watches them pass, a small group stitched together not by blood, but by loss, longing, and the unexpected kindness that fills the spaces where grief once lived. And if anyone looks closely, they'll realize the truth. The search did more than reunite a man with his lost companion. It brought together three lonely hearts who needed one another more than any of them knew.